My name is Caleb Hayes. I'm 34 years old, and on February 11th, 2025, I died. I wasn't a career soldier, not really. I did 4 years in the Army, right out of high school, got my honorable discharge, and went home to Indiana to build a normal life. I got a job working logistics at a shipping company, married my high school sweetheart, Emily, and we had our little girl, Lily. That was my world. Paychecks, mowing the lawn on Saturdays, and teaching Lily how to ride her bike without training wheels. My biggest worry was a leaky roof or if I was saving enough for her college. Life was simple. It was good. When the war started, I felt that old pull. I saw the news, the family's torn apart, and it felt wrong to just sit on my couch and watch. Emily and I argued about it for weeks, cried about it, but I told her, what do I tell Lily when she's older and asks what I did when the world was on fire? That I just watched? So, with a heavy heart, I signed up to volunteer. Not as a frontline infantry guy, but to help train their forces. Use my experience. I thought it was safer. I was wrong. The day it happened was bitter cold. The kind of cold that gets inside your bones and stays there. The sky was a flat, boring gray. We were pinned down by artillery, and the constant thud of explosions had become like a weird heartbeat for the world. You learn to live with the noise, the fear, you push it down. All I could think about was the smell of my mom's Sunday pancakes. I don't know why, but that's what was in my head. That warm, sweet smell of home. Then I heard a new sound, a high-pitched whine like a giant insect. We all knew what it was, a drone. Someone yelled, but it was too late. There wasn't a big Hollywood explosion. There was just a flash of white heat, a force that felt like God himself had slapped the world, and then nothing. Just silence. The pain was gone, the cold was gone, the noise was gone. I felt light, I was floating. I looked down and saw my body. It was broken, lying in the frozen mud next to two of my comrades. There was smoke and chaos everywhere. Men were screaming, running for cover, but I couldn't hear them. It was like watching a movie with the sound turned off. I wasn't scared. That was the strangest part. All that training, all that ingrained fear, it just wasn't there. I felt a deep, deep sadness for the man below me, for the life he was leaving, for the little girl who would never see her daddy again. But I wasn't that man anymore. I was something else. I tried to reach for my body, to go back, but I couldn't. I was just aware. Aware of the battlefield, of the gray sky, of the whole suffering world. Then I felt a gentle pull, not a force, more like an invitation. The gray, ugly world began to fade, like a photograph sinking in water. Everything dissolved into a soft, quiet dark. It wasn't a scary dark. It was a restful dark, like the feeling of closing your eyes after a long, hard day. I thought, so this is it. This is the end. And I was okay with it. I was just so tired. Then, the silence changed. It's hard to explain. The silence before was an absence of noise. This new silence was full. It was a presence. It was more real than any sound I'd ever heard. And in the middle of that living silence, a warmth began to grow. It wasn't light, not at first. It was a feeling. It was the feeling of the first warm day of spring after a long winter. It was the feeling of a hug from my daughter, Lily, when I'd come home from work. It was every good, warm, safe feeling I had ever known all at once. And then I saw him. He was standing there, Jesus. But my mind just stopped. I couldn't process it. It wasn't a man in a robe from a painting. There was no stained glass, no halo. His form was made of something that felt like pure truth. The air around him didn't just get bright, it became solid with peace, like you could lean against it and never fall. Time itself seemed to bend around, his presence slowing down, losing all meaning. My whole life, I'd been running, fighting, worrying, pushing. For the first time, my soul stood completely still. He didn't speak with a voice. The words weren't sound. They were understanding. The thought just appeared in my mind, fully formed, filled with a love that was so complete it almost hurt. Caleb, just my name. But when he said it, I felt it echo back to the moment I was born. He saw the little boy who was afraid of the dark in his bedroom in Indiana. He saw the teenager who made stupid mistakes. He saw the scared young soldier in basic training. He saw the husband, the father, the man trying his best. He saw all of it, every dark corner, every hidden shame, every small victory. and there was no judgment in his gaze, not a drop. There was only a profound, heartbreaking recognition, like a father seeing his son after a long, long journey. For a second, I just cried. Not from sadness, it was a cry of relief. The weight of being me, of carrying all my failures and fears for 34 years, it just lifted, it floated away. I felt clean, I felt known. I looked at him, and the question formed in my mind without me even thinking it. What's happening? His answer came back, not in words, but in a wave of pure knowing. You are home, but it is not yet your time. I don't want to go back, I thought. The words were a desperate plea. I'm so tired, please, let me stay. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he showed me something. The scene shifted. I was no longer in that peaceful space. I was floating high above the earth. I saw our world, a beautiful blue marble spinning in the dark, but I could also see things I couldn't see before. I saw threads, billions of them. Some were shining, golden threads of light, connecting people. A mother praying for her son in a distant city. A child sharing their lunch with another kid who had none. A husband forgiving his wife. These were threads of love, of prayer, of kindness. They were beautiful. But there were other threads, dark, ugly, tangled threads of red and black. They were threads of hate, of pride, of greed, of unforgiveness. And I saw how these dark threads were being pulled, tightened by unseen hands in the shadows. I saw nations, leaders, people, all wrapped up in these dark threads, being pulled further and further apart. What is this? I asked. This is the war behind the wars, he answered, his knowing filling me with a deep sadness. Humanity is choosing fear. Pride is blinding the hearts of leaders. They are pulling on threads that will unravel the world. Then, he showed me a vision that chilled me to my very soul. I saw the threads of anger and pride connecting the great nations of the world. I saw a small spark, an act of aggression, a misunderstanding in one part of the world. But instead of being put out, the dark threads pulled tight. It was like watching a line of dominoes. One nation reacted in anger, another reacted in pride, another in fear. The dominoes fell, one after another, faster and faster. I saw flashes of terrible things. I saw cities I recognized under skies filled with fire. I saw oceans turning gray. I saw families running not from soldiers in a field, but from a poison in the air. I saw computer screens with cascading numbers showing economies collapsing. It wasn't one single battle. It was 1,000 hidden battles. A war fought with money, with lies, with technology, and then, finally, with terrible weapons that left no winners. It was World War III, but it didn't look like the old wars. It was a quiet, suffocating collapse. Tears filled my eyes. Why are you showing me this? I pleaded. We can't stop it. It's too big. And this is the part I will never forget. His presence grew even stronger, and he turned my attention from the great dark threads of nations back to the small, golden threads of light. Look closer, he urged. I saw a soldier, just like me, on his knees in the dirt, exhausted, praying not for victory, but for peace in the heart of his enemy. And as he prayed, his tiny golden thread pulsed with a brilliant light, and one of the thick, dark threads nearby grew thin, almost transparent. I saw a group of mothers in a small town in America gathered in a church basement, praying for the world's leaders. Their combined threads of light formed a shield, and I saw a dart of darkness, a thought of pure evil meant for a leader's mind, bounce off that shield and fade away. I saw a teenager who chose not to share a hateful meme online, a tiny act, but I saw that choice prevent a new dark thread from ever forming. The world will tell you that your small acts of love do not matter, he said, the truth of it washing over me. They will tell you that your prayers are empty words sent to a silent sky. It is the greatest lie of the enemy. Every prayer from a pure heart, every act of true forgiveness, every moment you choose love over hate is a weapon in this war. You are not helpless. The light is more powerful than the dark, but it must be chosen. You must choose it. I saw that the coming war wasn't inevitable. It was a choice, a collection of millions of small dark choices, and the only thing that could stop it was a collection of millions of small bright choices. This is why you must go back, he said, his voice now impossibly gentle. The reality hit me like a physical blow. No, I begged. I can't. I want to stay here, in the peace, with you. Leaving him felt like tearing my own soul in half. The thought of returning to the noise, the pain, the cold mud, it was unbearable. He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw a sadness in his presence. Not a sadness of defeat, but of empathy. The same way a father feels the pain of his child who has to get a shot. He knows it's for their own good, but he feels their fear. Caleb, the work of peace is not done here in the silence. It is done there, in the noise, he said. Tell them that their prayers are shaking kingdoms they cannot see. Tell them that their love is a light in a darkness that is real. Tell them not to give up. Their mission is not over. He reached out, not with a physical hand, but with his presence, and touched my soul. A jolt of warmth, purpose, and strength flooded through me. The peace wasn't leaving me. He was sending a piece of it back with me. I will, I whispered. I will tell them. The last thing I remember was his presence slowly receding and the beautiful, living silence being replaced by a rushing sound, like wind in a tunnel. The darkness returned, but this time it felt cold and empty. I gasped. A blinding, sterile light burned my eyes. There was a tube in my throat. My chest felt like it had been crushed by a truck, beeping, so many beeping machines. A woman's voice, speaking German, was shouting commands. Someone was pressing down on my chest, hard. I tried to move, to speak, but I couldn't. All I could do was cry. The tears just streamed down my face. I wasn't crying from pain. I was crying because I had just left home. I had left him. I woke up properly days later in a field hospital in Germany. My commanding officer was there. He looked pale, like he'd seen a ghost. He told me what had happened. The drone strike had killed 2 men instantly. I was the third. I had no pulse, no respiration. My body was riddled with shrapnel. They worked on me in the field for several minutes, but got nothing. They declared me dead on sight. For 23 minutes, I was gone. A transport team was bagging the bodies when a medic, a young kid on his first tour, decided to try the defibrillator one last time. For no reason, just a feeling he had, and my heart started again. The doctors couldn't explain it. They said with that much time without oxygen, I should have had massive, irreversible brain damage. But my scans were clear. They called it a 1 in a million miracle. They didn't know the half of it. So now, I'm back. I'm scarred up, and I walk with a limp, but I'm back. I hold my daughter Lily every single day, and I tell her I love her. I look at the world differently now. I see the threads. I see the quiet war happening all around us, in our homes, in our schools, on our phones. And I'm here to give you the message he gave me. If you are listening to this and you feel hopeless, if you watch the news and you think the world is too far gone, too broken, please listen to me. Heaven is real. Jesus is alive. And your fight is not pointless. That small prayer you whisper when you're scared in the middle of the night, it is a cannon blast in the spiritual realm. That moment you choose to forgive someone who wronged you, it is the severing of a dark chain. That dollar you give to someone in need, the kind word you offer to a stranger, the patience you show your family, these are not small things. They are the weapons of light. They are the only things that will stop the dominoes from falling. You don't have to be a soldier. You don't have to be a hero. You just have to choose love right where you are. Today, don't wait. The war is real, but the victory has already been decided. We just have to choose which side we're fighting for. One small golden thread at a time. He is listening. He sees you, and he is waiting for you to join the fight.